Hey everyone, and Happy New Year. We have officially entered into this new decade, and for many of you, today, which is January 6th, is the first official day back into your work life. I know many of you took a couple of weeks off and just really enjoyed that time. So I thought it would be so appropriate that I share with you something that I have really been thinking about a lot and talking with my other friends in business and friends in general about as we go into this new year of 2020. And so I want to talk briefly about us playing a bigger game this year. Now, as we go into this new decade, I just really want to challenge you to play a bigger game and show up for yourself in a way that you never have before. So at the end of 2019, many of you probably were pretty reflective about what you wanted to see in the new year. And it's not so much about setting goals and making resolutions. If you did that, that's wonderful. I set goals myself. But what I want you to understand is it's about taking action as your full potential self. That is what will get you to reaching those goals this year. Not allowing yourself to give any excuses, giving your whole heart into it, and sometimes even putting on those blinders and saying no to some things so that way you can really focus and get the work done to achieve your goals. And I have a couple of questions that I was asking myself. And so I want to read those questions off to you because I think it would be a wonderful exercise for you as you think about what your business is going to look like this year. Many of you watching right now are thinking to yourself, okay, this is the year that I am really going to start my real estate TC business. I'm not going to put it off anymore and I'm going to do it. And some of you may not be starting a real estate TC business. Maybe you're just watching this video as some encouragement. So this is for you as well. But I really want you to manage your mindset this year. And what that is manage your mindset about the stories that you've been telling yourself about your abilities, stories you've been telling yourself about money, stories you've been telling yourself about possibilities in general. If you really sit with that, you may see some negative self talk in there. You may see some mental boundaries that you need to address. And so I really want to encourage you this year that you go through this year motivated, intentional, and taking action on a set number of small goals. The reason why I said small is because if you have 20 goals to achieve this year, you know, that may or may not happen. But I feel like if you have a small number of goals that you have set out to achieve this year, you can make sure that you are putting in the effort, you have the time and resources to achieve them, then it's so doable to get those done. And then, hey, then create more goals and keep going from there. So I'm going to go ahead and share some questions with you right now that I think you should ask yourself about this real estate TC business that you have been starting, or maybe you just started it and maybe it's not where you want it to be right now. I want you to think about these 7 questions. All right, number 1, why do you want this business? That is so important because when things get tough, you have to have a good reason of why you want to do this. Because I think sometimes when we're on the other side of being an entrepreneur and we're desiring to come into this space, it could seem a lot more glamorous than what it is sometimes. So why do you want this business? The second question is, what areas do I feel stuck in getting my goal of being in business? So what areas do you feel stuck in and why? Why are you feeling stuck? And let's work through that. Question number 3, what do I have going for me? It's so easy to, especially when you're in number 2, feeling stuck, to think about everything that is going wrong or things that aren't how you would prefer them to be. And so I really want you to think about, what do you have going for you? And once you sit down with that question, I promise you, if you're honest to yourself, you have a lot going for you. Number 4, where do you see yourself in 1 year, in the next 3 years, in the next 5 years? Where do you see yourself? If you could fast forward to January 6th of 2021, what would your life look like right now? What would your ideal week look like as you are running your real estate TC business? What does it look like in regards to spending time with your friends and family or participating in volunteer activities that you're very passionate about? Whatever it is, however you want to live your best life, what would that look like for you? Number 5, who are my mentors? So, who are your mentors? Who are the people who have been where you want to go? Or they're a couple of steps ahead of you and they can reach back and give you advice and give you some guidance that will, no doubt, trust me, save you time and save you money. So, it's important to have mentors along the way. Number 6, who are my cheerleaders? Some of you may be starting this business and you're thinking, gosh, my family and friends, they really don't understand what I'm doing. And so it's a little hard because, you know, I feel like I don't have a lot of cheerleaders. And I understand some of you may have a ton of people supporting you as you're about to start this journey, and others may not. But I want to encourage you that if this is something, a desire that has been placed in your heart, and you're very passionate about it, I want you to know that you can see it through. And sometimes you just have to be your own cheerleader, right? If you want it bad enough, you don't necessarily need anyone on the sidelines cheering you on. But trust me, I know that it is a benefit when you do have someone cheering you on. But if you don't have anyone, if nothing else, I want you to think of me and I'll be your cheerleader. Okay, the last question, number 7. What do I have control of? Now, this is a good question because if you really sit with this and ask yourself what you have control of, you will realize that you have control of a lot more than you probably realize or that you probably are acknowledging. Because I think sometimes it's so easy for us to, not in a bad way, but blame whatever. Blame a circumstance, blame this as a reason as to why we're not achieving our goals. But I really want you to sit down and just take personal responsibility and be really honest with yourself and ask yourself, what do I have control of? Now, I too have decided to play a bigger game this year and in this new decade in general. And I ask myself these same questions. And so I'm really choosing this year, especially to be intentional, to be optimistic, and also to simplify things in my business and finally grow it beyond myself. That's something that I have been encouraging my students and my listeners to do. And it's about time that I took my own advice, right? So, one big decision that I decided to make is offering my real estate TC masterclass every quarter. So, beginning even in a couple of weeks, enrollment will be open for my new revamped real estate TC masterclass. And then enrollment will be open every quarter thereafter. So I'm really excited about that. If you're on my email list, you'll be getting all of the updates in regards to workshops that I'm going to be launching and holding for you to come on board and just learn a little bit more about that. So that's a big announcement. And then if you have been encouraged by some of those questions that we just went over and you are wanting a little bit more, I created a 2020 planning guide for you. So all you have to do is click the link in the show notes below and get your free copy. It's just a free download, but it's a lot, it's more in depth and it'll allow you to really plan out your year in the quarter system, which is what I always suggest. So that's it for this video. As I close, I have to share this with you. My brother from another mother, hermano, he gave me one of the best Christmas gifts ever. So as I close this video, I typically would raise my Golden Girls cup, right, to many blessings on you and your family this year. But instead, I got my fan. Stay golden, everyone. You got this, and I believe in you. Until next time, bye.